Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Wildfire, as everyone knows, has emerged as one of the big major issues affecting Oregon and, for that matter, all western states. A real actionable response that's including how do we fight fire, actively managing our forests so that we don't have the fuels out there, and how are we going to protect communities from smoke exposures. The council is really set up to have a comprehensive strategy that's based on action and based on protecting our communities.
The primary focus we as a board have come through with is that in researching the policies for fire management, yes, prescribed fire has its place on the landscape, but not during fire season. We, as a county, passed a proclamation that says once the state fire marshal declares fire season, it'll be nothing but full suppression, and recently took a resolution to the National Association of Counties, essentially says that they support coordination between agencies and local governments for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens regarding fire, prescribed fire, fire season, anything that affects our citizens.
This is Lily Morgan from Josephine County, and we are at the Rogue Leadership Forum today, looking at the best possible partnerships that we can come up with to fight the fire issues and the smoke issues that we're facing in Southwest Oregon. So looking forward to coming up with solutions and the partnerships to get the job done so we don't face what we have the last few years with catastrophic fires and smoke that invades our communities for months to come. So this is a good opportunity, and we hope to be successful in the outcome.
Seeing so many people come together has really been exciting for me because there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of resources, and as we attempt to do a shared stewardship approach to keeping people safe, it's really important that we get together. So my name is Merv George Jr., and I'm the Forest Supervisor for the Rogue River Siskiyou National Forest. The first things is making sure to get fires out if they're threatening life and property. The second thing that I'm going to focus in on is when it's safe to do so, to put some fire on the landscape when it's cooler and not during fire season, to reduce these same fuels that are giving us so much fits during the fire season.
Bob Horton, I'm the Fire Chief of Jackson County Fire District 3 in Southern Oregon. The challenges that are facing us in terms of the mega fires and the wildfires that we've been experiencing out in this valley, particularly in the last couple of years, but across the state and across the region, incredibly concerning to us in the fire community, those in our communities in general, our constituents and our patrons are extremely concerned, as they ought to be. And really the takeaway from the work that's being done now is this is an extraordinary collaboration of dozens on dozens of interested stakeholder groups who are coming together with a common purpose. It's really an inspiring showing of humanity to not only be able to provide for a greater quality of life for our people, but to be strong stewards of our land, so that our future for us and generations to come is incredibly bright.
Very pressing issue. It's bearing down on us. Fire season is approaching, and I am really interested in preventing my home and other homes in my community from being impacted by wildfire, specifically from being burnt down. That's my main reason for being involved.
Quite a collaboration of folks. We're here looking for practical solutions to help us unravel some of the issues surrounding wildfires today here in the state of Oregon. And my focus really is on planning for large wildfire events in advance of their occurrence. That way, when they do occur, we can respond more appropriately to those situations.
Well, I just think it's grand if all of the people all over the state have come together today to be concerned about water. It just warms my heart, because I know that they really will leave here today feeling more impressed about the water, because I have told them that we're all born in water. We cannot live without it. It's our job to take care of it, stop the garbage in the rivers and streams and oceans, because there's life in that water, and it's our job to keep it clean for them. Because we cannot live on this planet without the animal kingdom. I was in Ohio at the Ohio River with Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist who had proven water could heal. He and I stood on the riverbank and blessed the Ohio River that they had us come to do. And I prayed that God has still kept the river good for them over there. We were taught when we were little that prayer works. You too will remember your prayers because they work. It has nothing to do with religion or church.
Why do counties matter? Simple. Counties provide the services we all depend on. If you're concerned about crime, get a regular flu shot. Drive to work. Take public transportation. Or experience a natural disaster in your community. Chances are you benefit from county services. That's why counties matter. With America's system of federalism, counties are a key level of government, serving the people directly. So, do you vote? Had a recent hospital stay? Know someone in a nursing home? More reasons why counties matter. There are 3,069 counties across the country, with populations big and small. Most of us live and work in one. Even the nation's capital is considered a county. These county governments ensure that the food you eat in restaurants is safe. They care for the mentally ill, run court systems, build local economies, and operate 911 emergency systems. They manage.
Welcome everyone. Curry County, Oregon Board of Commissioners meeting. It is May 6th today, 2021. I can read it on the big screen there. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Director Rickard is out. To my left is Commissioner Christopher Pash, myself, Court Boyce. To my right, John Herzog, Commissioner, County Counsel Anthony Pope. To his right, Staff John Jesuit. In the audience, we have, do I get this right? Corporal.
Don't say it. Don't do it.
Phil McDonald, welcome. And also Brad Alcorn, Brookings City Council and Chair of our Budget Committee. Also, we have Brookings City Administrator Janelle Howard. And also in the audience, we have longtime County Clerk Renee Cullen. Welcome, everyone. We'll have public comment here in just a minute. Approval of the or amendments of the agenda board. Treasurer's here too, sir. Oh, you're hiding over there on the. Look this way, so I can. Yeah. County Treasurer David Barnes. Thank you.
Somebody sneak in.
Oh, we can find a chair for you, miss. Actually, you can sit right there. That'd be fine. No, well, right there in Brad's.
You can sit in Brad's.
Heavens, yes. Yeah, no reason you can't. So board approval or amendment of the agenda. Sorry, I missed you, by the way. I missed two people.
Move approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
No discussion. The only thing I want to add is item number 4, gentlemen, is an action item. I think we're in agreement on that, but it is a discussion and an action item. So I probably should have offered that before the motion. So can we amend that motion, Commissioner Herzog?
As amended.
Second.
Roll call, please. Staff Jesuit.
Commissioner Pash.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
We have 3 public comment slips here. First, Michelle Martin, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, everybody needs to adjust the microphone.
Okay.
Good job.
All right. So I do appreciate you, Commissioner Boyce, coming up and approaching me and requesting that I give you some time and that we go back a long ways. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to take my comments down just one notch. So I'm in disagreement if you're going to, again, turn over our public, you already have turned over our public health to OHA, and now you are going to vote on mental health. Our community is very upset about this, and I get my comments, if you're wondering where I get my comments from, is McKay's Market. You know, I've been in this area for a very, very long time, and family goes back a long ways as well as court. But I just wanted to let you know that our Commissioner Pash has a large support group. Our sheriff and his department has a very large support group. And our county employees here have a very large support group. And, you know, we voted you in, Commissioner Boyce, but we can also turn that around. So I just want to say that I hope that you reconsider your decision today, which sounds like it's pretty set in stone. But it's a very important decision. And in the last meeting that you had, you said, if I'm correct, that you were going to have a workshop in regards to the mental health being changed over to OHA. So with that, saying that, I'm going to leave it at that. And I appreciate you giving me the time to be able to stand up here and speak for myself and for many of our public citizens.
Ms. Martin, another thing I mentioned to you in the hallway, and I'm sure you felt it was quite sincere, that I know you care very much about what happens in our communities, in our county. And I go forward with that acknowledgement and believe it quite strongly. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate it too. And I've been a city councilor here for a few years, and I know the back doors and inside and the outside of politics. So
could you please introduce I couldn't believe it was your grandson.
Oh, Brady.
Brady?
Yeah. One of 5
Hi, Brady. Welcome.
Future county commissioner right there.
He's here today
Don't you forget it either, huh?
he's here today to get the in and outs of government.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Local government.
Nancy Sue Rose, please.
Nancy Sue Rose.
Do you mind doing that other microphone down just a little bit? Thank you.
Nancy Sue Rose, Nasika Beach. I'm hoping in your discussion that you will answer some questions that a lot of the community has had about, for instance, will there be any staff here in the county if you do transfer the mental health department to the state? In all the things that I could read from the previous info that we received, all I found was that no, there won't be people here in the county. It seems like mental health, there really needs to be people here. So I'm hoping that will be answered in the discussion. And also I had a question that maybe you could answer. You're having the discussion, then you're having an executive session, and Boyce, you just said that the action would come during the discussion. So if there's an executive session, will there be some kind of thing that we should come back for after the executive
I don't know. I'm unaware of what.
Here, because if you're having an executive session to discuss it and act on it before the executive session, I just wondered about that.
Stay up there for just a second. Maybe we can answer that. Who put the executive session on the agenda?
I don't think anybody did. I think it was kind of a placeholder in case we needed to bring something up. But as far as I'm aware, there is no executive session scheduled today.
Likewise. And so, yes, on the action item, when I originally submitted, and I can read that here at some point if necessary for the public, when I originally submitted the agenda routing slip, I clearly made it an action item minor thing. So, Commissioner Pash?
That's part of the template of our
Oh, okay.
workshop or
Okay.
our county commissioner meeting.
Okay.
If there's not an actual line under that with an A, B, C, D, or E,
Oh, okay.
then there is no actual item on there. It's just a template.
Okay. And okay, and I'll ask this too, but is there some reason that you decided not to have a workshop on this issue before bringing it to an action item? Because you had said that there was going to be a workshop on it.
Do you have an answer for that?
I'd like to just treat this meeting as a workshop action item. So even though you filled out a public comment slip, I think anytime during this meeting, if you raise your hand, we will acknowledge you, and anybody can talk it. And we want everybody to be heard, but timing is of an issue right now with this whole thing. And honestly, I think everybody is going to be pleased with the outcome when they hear just what's going on. So,
okay,
is that okay, Chair?
I think it's a
Chris,
good idea. I'm going to have to leave at 12 sharp. I have a video conference with several other commissioners and Representative DeFazio. So, but we have 20 minutes, and we might just call you back up, Miss Rose. Phil McDonald, please. Welcome.
Welcome. Phil McDonald, Curry County Sheriff's Office. I'm here for two reasons. One, as myself, and so my first comment is this is probably one of the dumbest things I've heard of in a long time. As a citizen of Curry County, why would we give up control? Why would we give up our local mental health authority? I understand we don't have the employees, we can contract the service out, but why would we give up the control over who gets contracted to the state of Oregon? Then we have no local control over it. If we get poor service, we're going to complain to the state that the people you're contracting aren't providing the service that we need, all right? And that's just as a citizen. As the captain at the sheriff's office, my agency interacts more with mental health than any other agency in the county. My deputies work with the mental health workers on a daily basis, close to a daily basis, all right? Mental health provides services in the jail, necessary services that we need and require. And if we give up control to the state and those services, whoever they contract with, they're not providing the service or a service that we feel meets our needs, we're going to go complain to the state. If you guys hold the local mental health authority, you can go to the contractor and say, look, either you pick up the pace or we'll find somebody that will. But if you give that up, you're going to go complain to the state about, that's all this is. It's who's going to be the authority, who's going to be the contractor. Because there's somebody willing to accept the contract. There always is. I've worked and lived in a county that outsourced it, sent it, they contracted with the county next door, and guess what happens when you do that? I'm not going to use what I was going to say because that's not good for... You become the second-class citizen. You get second-class service because their main function is their county, and the secondary is your county. So this is, like I said, this is one of the most illogical decisions that I've seen coming forth. It seems like it's getting pushed through without a lot of discussion, and so that's why I'm kind of passionate about this. I've lived and worked in a place where there's no control over the mental health services that you get. I worked in law enforcement in that exact same community, and I do not want to see that happen here. Do we have the greatest mental health program in the world here? No, we don't. Do they work well with the sheriff's office? I don't care what's going on way up here, but down here, are they working with us? Are we working with them? Yes. And we need to the county needs to maintain control over this. So I'm here. If you have any questions when you guys get into it, I would love to answer them.
Who wants to go first? Well, I will. To say we have a lot of options, Captain, no, we don't. And we lost a big one on Friday. and it's because I couldn't get this board together. And that was from one commissioner in particular. So that was probably one of the most sad days I've had in the 4.5 years I've been here, if I can just communicate that to you. Then thanks to, now just let me finish, please. And then thanks to Commissioner Herzog, I think taking a tremendous lead, he started searching. We were both searching in different areas and trying to figure out what in the world are we going to do, because there's only Adapt from Roseburg seemed to be the absolute best and logical option. I did get a call from Commissioner Cribbins from Coos County that said, hey, we can help. It'd be very temporary, but we can help. We know what you're up against being in that corner of the state. So, you know, we've had some legal issues that I've opposed with Curry Community Health, opposed consistently. We had one big case go Friday, which added to my depression that day, and the commissioners were both as well aware. And so we lost that one also to Curry Community Health, and that was not unanticipated. And so because that is now behind us, Curry Community Health has stepped up, also on a temporary basis, and they're willing to extend from the June 30th deadline through September.
So then why? So then why would we give local control?
I'm getting to that,
back
if I
to the
may.
state
There's a stipulation.
today?
I'm getting to that, and it maybe would help if I read this. Curry County Health has voluntarily offered to extend their mental behavioral health services for Curry County through September 30th, 2021. For them to do that, this approval of the resolution is important in the next step. Nobody, OHA doesn't, the counties, OHA essentially has all the control anyway. Look at what we've been through this last 14, 15 months, okay? Who's controlling the counties, big and small? So when Commissioner Herzog went to, I don't know exactly what the sequence was, when he went to Curry Community Health and said, hey, here's our issue. Is there another option here? I think he moved a mountain, and because there was an awful lot of hard feelings. So I talked with CEO Razzle from CHN last night. She is totally for this, and she reminded me we're both in total agreement that this is a temporary deal, that we're going to go to Curry Community Health, who will not go past September 30th deadline, I don't think. If things are smooth and the county's at the table, Curry Community Health, OHA, the county care organizations, a lot of what the public does not know is totally unaware of. Then we could reevaluate, assess within 18 months, 12 months to a year. My goal, one commissioner speaking here, is to get local mental health back, maybe as soon as a year. When ADAPT found out, Captain, that Curry Community Health stepped up to the plate, they changed their mind after they walked away on Friday afternoon. They changed their mind, said, with Curry Community Health on board, we can take a serious look now at where, forgive me if this has taken too long, but I think it's all very important. We can look now at a reasonable time frame for transition. And so that was the third great bit of news I had on Monday. And so, hang on, I'm almost done. And they know we want to take local mental health back. OHA knows we want to take it back at some point. We're just not capable of doing that right now. And if we show some confidence, if we show some professionalism, if we show some progress, we can also try and get public health back. We're just not set up right now. So that's my goal, that's my vision. I think I have a good opportunity, if I'm right, persuade this board. That's my job. I'm very serious about that. So I can read the resolution here in a little bit. Curry Community Health and ADAPT both said, unless you go direct to Oregon Health, we're not going to deal with Curry County or any counties. They don't do that. They go directly to OHA, okay? That doesn't mean we're not going to have a spot at the table. It does not mean we're not going to have some input. It does not mean our long-term goal is to bring it all back under the Curry County roof. But we've got to build some foundations first. Go ahead, thank you.
So when do you let the contractor tell you how to run your business? Okay, that would be like me letting the inmate tell me how to run the jail.
That is ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I'm going to disagree that is completely ridiculous for this reason.
We won't do this unless you
They're
give
the
it back
ones,
to the state?
Captain. that have the capacity and the professionalism and the understanding. If we would have dealt with Curry Community Health properly a year and a half ago, we wouldn't be in this situation right now, either on public or mental health.
Okay, so
Please forgive me, but that's
my
the fact.
statement is, when they tell you we won't deal with you unless you give it back to the state.
So you want to put ADAPT in that as a professional they can be? Do you want to put them in the same category? They're trying to tell us no. They deal directly. We're getting advice, good professional counsel from the CCOs, from OHA. OHA has been tremendous to deal with. I'm not going to go in from this day forward and assume they're going to beat us up or push us around. There's been no indication of that yet. If they do, then I'm going to be calling you and Mrs. Martin and everybody else and saying, we need to gather here and circle the wagons and push back.
We're telling you that right now. We're telling you to gather right now, circle the wagons, and look out for Curry County.
We're circling the wagons by making this decision today so we can get our people immediately mental health services. If we don't do this, if we don't follow this resolution, what is your recommendation? Because nobody wants to deal with us. Find me a provider. Find me a provider.
You've looked everywhere for a provider.
Absolutely. I just told you about Coos County.
So
Jackson County wanted nothing to do with it.
So
Josephine County isn't an option in this case.
So hire a director and hire staff and create a mental health department.
And how long would that take?
Is what it takes. It's going to take what it takes.
Okay. And we've got Curry Community Health that just stepped up to the table, or sat down at the table and said, we're willing to do this. And I don't know what more we can ask for.
If we get to work for someone else.
What are we giving away? We're giving away success is what we're doing. So who was first here?
Ms. Rose has had her hand up for 10
Hang on one second. I want to go to the commissioners first. Did you raise your hand, Commissioner?
I did.
Please
Phil,
continue.
I just want to. So, timing is big because we don't want to lose any services, right? You don't. If we, the state has pretty much said, or OHA has said, you either do this or it's just like with public health, it's going away. So I think, in my mind, they are going to work with CCH, Curry Community Health. Our services are not going to change right now until September 30th. Everything is going to go along. I talked to the CEO of ADAPT, Gregory Brigham. 40 years he's been in this business. They're a top-notch outfit, mental health-wise. And I'm telling you, I know about mental health, and I think you know why I know about mental health. Won't get into that, but this is a win-win. Curry Community Health did not have to do this. We would have been on our own June 30th, and without anything. And so they've stepped in to fill that gap. So our services will not change from today through the end of June, and hopefully with OHA and ADAPT and CCH, and even those folks that work for CCH, because they are definitely getting out of it. They're going to be done, but they want to transition with ADAPT. I've talked to All Care, Advanced Care, all these folks. Go ahead, Phil, get up there. But
no, keep going. You don't have to be in a hurry here.
This is a win-win as far as I'm concerned about keeping those services moving forward.
My question is, all right, here's my question. They're willing to work with each other. They're willing to make a smooth transition. Why does the county have to give up the local mental health authority in order for them to do that? That's my question. Because they don't want to work with the board? That's my question.
Well, part of it might be that Curry Community Health has some hard feelings because of the way they were treated, okay, by past board and by the past board and this board. So there are some issues there. ADAPT also saw that because I tried to get a meeting together so we could work with. By the way, I didn't know you talked to Brigham. That is good news. I've talked to him about a dozen times, and good job. Commissioner Pash, I'm going to go to you.
I'm going to hold my comments for now. I think someone in the audience had their hand up.
So we got about 10 minutes. Do you want to come back up?
Sir, this is an important thing. You're going to go to a phone.
Setting this meeting for half an hour before you have to leave, that is absurd.
Do you want to carry on?
But my question is, okay, I know we've given away public health, and we cannot possibly get it back before 4 years. That's what the letter said. And so I'm assuming it's the same with mental health. We give it away today, we can't get it back for 4 years. Is that the same? That's what I would like to know.
As far as I'm aware, that's not the same requirements with mental health. The 4 years is set by statute for the public health. There's no such requirement that I've found for mental health. But
Commissioner Pash?
I said at this moment I'm holding my comments.
Okay, well.
I will have some comments in the future, though.
You're next then.
I would just speak to that, Mary Sue, that I think even with public health, that's the 4 years. I think, but if we showed our due diligence,
Righto.
I just, you know, I don't think anything is written in stone. Council Pope, can you comment?
I think the statute says that we can't request it back for 4 years. If OHA could transfer it back to us before then, if we don't ask for it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, they are not this, you know, the Oregon Health Authority is not this huge animal that's, you know, gorilla that's trying to beat us down. They want what's best for the community and the citizens. CCH wants what's best for the community and the citizens. That's why they've stepped forward and said we will continue our services an extra length of time so we can get this, you know, so there'll be no break in services. And, you know, my prayer is that DAPTA comes on board. This company, I think they've been in the Douglas County area for over 50 years, maybe close to it. So really a top-notch, and CCH has even offered to, you know, make sure those folks that are working for CCH right now could step in. ADAPT would take them. In my mind, I can't see a downturn. I can't see a downside to this. With keeping, especially the critical mental health services that, you know, the 24/7 that we have right now, it's huge.
Administrator Howard, do you have anything you want to add? Please? You knew I was going to call on you.
No, I didn't.
Pull the microphone down there on the right, please. Thank you.
The council hasn't made any formal decisions, so I don't want to speak for the council. This topic is extremely important. We literally just a couple weeks ago started talking about a workshop that we had Monday to form a work group to start looking long term. I realize this is a very short term thing that we're doing today, trying to the immediate crisis of whether we're turning it over. I also am working with the CEOs and Commissioner Pash attended, and I had someone from both tribes. I had Jenny join us. Curry Community Health couldn't, but I talked to her ahead of time. So I've talked to a lot of the representatives, and everybody genuinely wants to see a solution. And again, I'm talking long-term solution. That we need solutions to mental health, not just to be able to keep it, but to be able to provide better services long-term for residents. For me, I guess I'm curious if anybody talked to AOC, because just the genuine mission of LOC and AOC is local control. They fight for us day and night for local control. So it goes against everything in my local government brain to give up local control. So and that's me speaking and not for the council, but I'm concerned to give up local control. And we will continue to do whatever we can to work with the county and keep a smooth transition to whatever happens next. I'm appreciative that Curry Community Health is stepping up to the plate. It's disappointing that will only happen if you give up that control to OHA. I'm surprised, but I wasn't in that meeting, so I'm sorry. But anyway, good job at least getting them to come around. But thank you.
Councilman Alcorn.
I came here today because this is obviously a very important issue. Your decision today is a very important issue. And it's very impactful to the city of Brookings as well as the county. I was hoping that City Manager Howard would get a chance to talk to you because I wanted you to know what we in Brookings are working on. I asked to have an agenda item put on the agenda. The council approved it, which was an agenda item to have a workshop to discuss the framework that we could put together to bring the best mental health here that we could. And I asked our mayor to, he was part of bringing the emergency room here. So I asked him to use that same framework to try to get the best mental health here that we can. And it's very important. It's important for our law enforcement officers to have a place to take people who are in need of help. Our advocates are also, it's important for them to have a place to take people in need of help. And it's very impactful, your decision today. So I can't speak for the entire council. Obviously, you all know that. You know what those rules are. But I can tell you it's very important to us, and we are working hard to try to come up with a mechanism to improve that as best we can, because it is so impactful. So I'm here to listen to your decision and let you know that we in the city are working through workshops and building relationships to make sure that our community has the best that we can offer them. That's all I have.
Great to have you here today. Commissioner Pash?
I'd like to ask County Council if I could, on the contracts on this, are they the same as they were for public health, that they had to be signed by July 1st, or they would then vacate that contract and it would expire at the end of the year? Is that the normalcy of this contract?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so, to bring everything to light on this, this is something that came up, I want to say, just a couple of months ago, shortly before Council Pope arrived here at the county. We received a letter from Curry Community Health saying they were going to vacate, not renew the contract for Curry Community Health. And had they told us that last year, had their attorneys told us that last year, we could have certainly better planned for this. I'm not going to throw stones at anyone in particular here. I will say, though, that it is a shame that we were given such a short period of time to deal with this. Again, I think because of the formation of Freedom Healthcare, I think that individuals in Curry Community Health knew that they were going to be asking to vacate these contracts, and rather than to protect the public here, they decided to, at the last minute, lodge a lawsuit against the county to vacate those contracts, or threaten a lawsuit to vacate those contracts in a very short period of time, which has put us in the situation we're in. Because I think if we would have had time, we could have fixed this, had these workshops, had everyone get together and find the best solutions for a strategic plan for healthcare in this county. I'm not a healthcare person. I don't know that much about healthcare at all. And that's why I thought we were going to have a workshop with the CCOs, with any of the providers, with the hospital, with the cities, and all of us just sit and brainstorm this. They have lifetimes of experience in law enforcement, in public health care, and mental health care. Some of the people in this county could have interjected a lot of good information into that, and instead here we are being mandated or threatened, basically, if we don't do this, I'm not going to, certain things won't happen in the future. And a threat might be a strong word, but instead of having workshops and my expectations for this meeting to be a sit together and talk, I yesterday got a letter from the Oregon Behavioral Health Director, Steve Allen, as did the other two commissioners. And I won't read the whole letter. The concerning part of the letter to me is this letter confirms our understanding of the meeting today, that Curry County will notify us within 48 hours of its decision. Those are things that, again, I as one commissioner, I wasn't even notified those meetings were happening. I knew that Commissioner Boyce, this board directed that Commissioner Boyce would get with behavioral health and set up that we're going to have a meeting, get information, and then bring that back to the board. from this letter, it seems like, and I wrote Mr. Allen back a letter stating that it seemed like a decision had already been made without the board's, at least this board member, even knowing about it. So I this week have also done some homework. I've spoken to Ms. Cribbins as well. I've spoken to some other people in the county. I've spoken to Director Allen this morning. I had a lengthy conversation with him this morning. Some of the things that he had some concerns about were he would have to check with legal on how soon, if we could apply for this back, he needs to check with his legal department to see if there are any rules and or laws that they have that there's a timeline on this. So those are some answers he couldn't give me. He did tell me this morning that he understood that Adept was back online with this, but I haven't heard Columbia Healthcare brought up at all. And a citizen brought me that this morning. Columbia Healthcare, from what they understand, is willing to provide some of the services for this county, and all they wanted to do, thinking there was going to be a meeting, was to be brought into that. I don't know that they're qualified to do that. I don't know that they could do that. All I know is, why weren't all of these kind of people brought in, these organizations brought in? So here we are on a 30-minute meeting to make a decision to give mental health back to the state, not knowing when we can get it back. And in Mr. Allen's own words, being able to discuss a variety of pathways to provide the services for the county. And he said down the road, in the very, very near future, he would like to sit and discuss those pathways and how we as a county can have mental health. But I just, again, I understand, why you may feel, this board may feel the way it does, but I would urge this board to be very, very careful and let's look at another way to get this done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do you have anything else? Councilman Alcorn just mentioned couldn't have been a worse day. Monday couldn't have been a better day. CCH is strictly stopgap. They are willing to step in. There's nothing wrong with their reputation, except how they were treated by this county. But they're willing to step in for 180 days. And if they get support, which they certainly have from the CCOs probably have more, in all the meetings I've had with both public health and mental health, the CCOs probably have more impact on me than anyone else. I want to state Mrs. Williams. I want to state Steve Allen. I mean, I couldn't find, in my opinion. Did you talk to him this morning, by the way?
No.
I'm sure you're going to get an opportunity, and I would really encourage that, and I know you'll be very positive to that opportunity. But I can't think of anybody better to work with. And his people, Bollinger. There's quite a list. The CCOs, 3 different on each side, all care and advanced health. They're elated. They don't see this as some kind of hitting us at the kneecaps. To the contrary. So as Administrator Howard mentioned, solution, problem solving, this is the first step. Let the healing begin in this county. That's been the hardest part of my job. Anybody wants to interpret, because we are working with CCH, and by the way, I don't want to leave Coast Community Health out in North County, South Coast County. I see the progress they're making. If anybody gets a chance, go look at their new facility in downtown Port Orford. I mean, they have a tremendous staff put together, as does Curry Community Health. They are incredible professionals. They care as much as everybody in this room about what happens to our citizens. So this decision is so basic and academic and easy for me. Here we are. So I'm going to read the resolution. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Just Athena. Oh, can I go first? Yes, please. Okay. Athena Goldberg is the Vice President of Behavioral Health for All Care. I think she's out of Medford area. I spoke with her on the phone. She was actually in tears. elated with the decision that if we make the decision that to go with what we're planning on right now, to give it back to OHA. OHA and CCH will partner through the end of, summer into September. And her recommendation is that that the state will contract with ADAPT, because she's vice president of behavioral health. She knows this, and it's the continuing of the services that I want to see for our citizens and for my son. But that's the key. That's the key for me. And Advanced, All Care, and then Linda Maxson, the same way. They all feel like it's a good decision. So
my question again is, all of these agencies are willing to work together to provide service to Curry County. So my question is then, again, why is the county being excluded from this? Because that's what's happening. The County Board of Commissioners are being excluded from the only decision that the way you're painting this, the way that I've sat here and listened, you've basically said that if we don't make this decision, we will not have any mental health services being provided as of July 2nd or midnight June 31st. That's basically what's going on. That's what you've made it sound like, okay? If these agencies are all willing to do this, why are they not willing to work with you, with the Board of Commissioners? Okay?
Well, they are.
Captain. No, they're not.
Could it be they're worried about getting sued? We have a terrible reputation throughout Oregon.
So fix it.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I voted against those lawsuits. They're ridiculous.
You're giving it away. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, I'm looking at this and you're giving it away. If there's a problem, fix it. If you go sit down with the people and say, look, that was yesterday, we need to move forward, okay? That's not going to happen, all right?
So I'm going to read the resolution here. Relinquishing local mental health authority back to Oregon Health Authority, State of Oregon. Whereas the Curry County Board of Commissioners on this date, this is fairly short, by the way, held a special board meeting to discuss the county returning the LMHA, Local Mental Health Authority, back to OHA, and whereas the county declines to operate or contract for a community mental health program, and whereas following a lengthy discussion, the board voted, we're going to fill in that gap here in a minute, I think, in favor of the county relinquishing its authority back to the state, and whereas by signing this resolution and forwarding a signed copy to the OHA sets in motion the process for additional necessary paperwork to be completed, furnished by the county to the Oregon Health Authority, and now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Curry County Commissioners to designate county council to work with the OHA regarding required necessary paperwork to relinquishing its LMHA back to OHA. Board, I'll just conclude with this. The cities, the tribes, everybody, stay focused. We'll be contacting you right away. If we don't sign this today, I don't know what our next step is. Columbia? Okay. Workshops are good. That's what we'll do. I'm looking for a motion.
You got a question?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What happens with all of the inventory that we gave CCH when they vacate this contract? None of that's even been discussed. Real estate, vehicles, all the money we gave them to get started. What happens with all that when we vacate?
First of all, that isn't on the agenda, and if you want to go back, I challenge you, Commissioner, not to go that path. Okay, we've lost the court cases over and over and over again. Please don't go back. Now, if we build a relationship back with CCH, as I said, the healing, I'm not afraid. I'll put Commissioner Herzog on it. I think if anybody could get some of those things returned, if that's the right thing for the citizens of this county, would you take on that challenge if asked?
Well, yeah, I'll do whatever I can to move forward in a positive manner.
I just think that's out of place right now. I mean,
for the citizens, yeah.
Well, that's you as one commissioner thinks it's out of place.
Okay, we've been down this path so many times. We lost the legal battles.
Why do you always interrupt me? Please let me talk. I let you.
Please stop. Please stop. Just don't. You have the floor now, Commissioner Pash. You brought up something that was not on the agenda and has been brought up so many times before. I just ask you to look for healing so we can move forward, and you're going back. I just think that's bad for the citizens. Commissioner Herzog? Or you can come back if you like.
It's bad for the citizens. Know we're a couple of $1 million worth of stuff that we gave them to form Curry Community Health and Mental Health Services. How and if they're going to give it back to the county. These are taxpayer dollars. We haven't even discussed any of that yet.
Nobody believes
and
there's
probably for a future conversation, yes. But I'm just wondering, has it been addressed in your meetings? Because you've had these meetings without, without me.
I'm not going to let you put me on the spot. Okay, as far as that goes, with going back to the legal litigations we've lost. If you want to try and bring another attack before this board to go to CCH when they have just stepped up for a total of 5 months, I'm appalled, but I'm not at all surprised, because that's exactly how we got here. Commissioner Herzog,
we didn't
please.
lose. If you go read the judge's order, you'll find that we did not lose. They were allowed to cancel the contract, but a lot of what they asked for was not given. You should go read the
I'm looking
judge's
for a
order.
motion, please.
I'd just like to say that, that's all these, the past litigation and the present, I think, is just about over. So as far as, I have no idea about what was given, but what concerns me is the here and now, and that is continuing mental health services for the county, Curry County, and our citizens. Now, Anthony might be able to speak on, what we'll do with, at the end, the actual dissolving of CCH and the Curry County, but I just can't help but think in my mind this is the best option for Curry County right now, without having a break in mental health services. So if the public doesn't have anything more.
Since you asked, I'll comment. David Barnes, I'm commenting as a public citizen. I'm not commenting. This has nothing to do with my office. I heard somebody say before, I believe it was Commissioner Boyce, that this is a good first step. This is the last step. This is the last step, okay? I've heard about talks. I sat here last month when things were happening with public health, and I listened to people say how we need to bring all the CCOs in here. We need to bring the people who have something to do with this in here. And I sit here and I listen to Commissioner Boyce say how he's had all these meetings with these people. Quite frankly, sir, I have little faith in your relation of what happened in these meetings. I've heard what you've said in other meetings, and quite frankly, I don't have a whole lot of trust in what you say. I'd like to hear these people say it for themselves. I'd like to hear Ms. Rouso, Ms. Williams come in here and say that she thinks this is a good idea. I'd like to hear the people from All Care and from other places come in and say this is a good idea, because frankly, sir, I don't trust you. Let's be honest about it. This is a rush job. This is a decision. In the last meeting, you sat up there and said, I had a lot of late night meetings on giving this up, and this is my decision. Okay? It's not supposed to be your decision. There's 3 people on this board. You've bullied Mr. Herzog into following along with you. I watched you threaten him. You put your hand in his face and threatened him a month ago when the subject came up about removing you as the chair. You physically threatened him, and he backed down in front of you. I just bring the people in, have a meeting, and let the public hear what they have to say, not what you're saying that they told you. I'd like to hear what they have to say to us. Okay? You're rushing this again, and you're going to make your decision, and I know that Commissioner Herzog is going to back you on it, and it's going to be 2-1 again, and it's a rush job, and I just think that, as Ms. Howard said, this is all about keeping local control. Mr. Herzog, how would you like it if I told you when you could cook in your house, when you could clean your house? You know, where you could park your cars on your property. You wouldn't. This is about local control. And for you to just give it away so freely just really flies in the face of what you were elected to do. You're shirking your responsibilities if you do this. You have an obligation to the people of this county, and by just giving everything away to the state, this will be the second major thing you've given away to the state in the last month now. You're shirking your responsibilities. Stand up and do the job that you were elected to do. Stand up for the people of this county. You know, stop giving our stuff away, please.
So, Commissioner Herzog, how many years you know me? Have you ever felt physically threatened by me?
Never.
Thanks.
It's
Okay.
on tape,
So,
sir.
yeah. So, I'm looking for a motion.
All right, can I just say one thing? I'm not,
Certainly.
I'm Cindy Beeman.
Judge Beeman, welcome.
Yeah. I'm not going to speak about local control or state control or anything like that, but I do want to let you know that I spoke with the judges in Coos County who do use ADAPT, and I'm not saying choose ADAPT. You can, however they do it however you do, but they are very happy with ADAPT and how they give their reports in a timely fashion, how they monitor people. I refer people to Curry Community Health every single day. I've been very concerned about this. I mean, every single day I refer somebody for mental health and for addiction services. And so I was concerned and asked the judges, and I was surprised. They recommended them with flying colors. So I don't know, I'm not saying anything about local control versus state control, but I don't know if that eases anybody's mind regarding mental health. I would imagine they would have to have a local satellite office in Curry County, presumably South County, because North County
Coast Community Health.
Coast Community
Yes.
Health may be the provider up there, but at least as South County, I would imagine they would have to have a satellite office or something so that we could treat everybody properly. But if that helps anybody, I just thought I should throw that.
That's the research we've done, and couldn't agree more. Yes.
Well, I think, Mr. Boyce, respectfully though, I think that people are, because I do look on Facebook, I do listen to people, and I think the communication with the community regarding the research you've done, I think that people are very much in the dark, especially with all of the issues that have happened. Communication needs to be better between the county and the citizens, because I don't know why I feel like I know more. I guess it's because I work for the state, obviously. I'm across the street and I hear more, but I think people are just really confused about what's going on, and being better communicators, maybe by press releases or what have you, would be more helpful for us to heal, which is what you're asking for. So.
Thank you. So noted. Commissioner Pash?
And I want to state for the record, Brookings did invite me down to that workshop last week, and I knew nothing about ADEPT, and I said, gosh, I said, I don't know, I couldn't even pronounce their name properly. And when I left your meeting, that workshop, I knew enough that I felt comfortable that they could provide the services through conversation with Jenny Razzo and a couple others in that meeting, that they could provide the services. When I mentioned Columbia, I was just mentioning that a citizen called in and said that's another healthcare provider that the state may want to look into. So that was just a passing thought. But everyone I've spoken to says that ADEPT is a qualified healthcare provider. I am in full agreement that we need to be it needs to stay here in the county.
I'm sorry, one other thing. I think it would be helpful to have more than one provider available. So if the county or the state in the county in their planning, if it does go to the state and it eventually comes back to you, it would be helpful to have at least some discussions about more than one provider, because often I have somebody who will not be allowed to go back to Curry Community Health because, I mean, we've all dealt with some of the people that are suffering from mental illness who maybe for some reason don't get along with that particular facility or the people there. It would be nice to have an option. And so, Columbia Care, I think, is mostly is a different type of mental health provider, but some like the coast community, and then adapt, and then we have some individuals in Brookings who give Jan Barker gives domestic violence counseling, that kind of thing. I think that's helpful to have that healthy competition. And if it does go back to the state, if you do decide to have state control right now, but then you have in mind that you're going to come back locally for local control, or you're going to contract with providers in the future, it would be really helpful for a much better plan. Because when mental health used to be with the county, I'm just going to say Curry Community Health was night and day better than when it was the county was running it. And part of that is because we all know it's difficult to bring people to our county unless you're from here, or you're married and you don't care about any social life, or you don't like to travel. It's gonna be just a not for everybody, but often in law enforcement, DHS, DA's office, public defender, when they were here, it's your first step till when you move back to Portland or Eugene or San Francisco. So that was what I think that Curry County had a lot of problem with. There was a lot of turnover and no stability. And so I hope that you can come up with some sort of comprehensive plan, if you want to take it back, that involves all those considerations and maybe multiple providers, so that if one person goes away, like Curry Community Health, which was big and had a lot of control, then we have somebody who can step in easier. So that's just my 2 cents. And I'm not assuming that there are options, and we all know there are very few options too. I had somebody in court this morning who her son is a schizophrenic, and he's released from the state hospital. They give you 3 days, has to come back to court, and then we have to release him, and he doesn't really have a plan, and I don't have anything to give him. I'm super frustrated. He's going to go to Curry Community Health, but I felt uncomfortable saying that, knowing that this was all going on, because I didn't know how long that was going to be an option for him. And he doesn't have housing, and he doesn't have food, and he doesn't have a caseworker,
And his mom, I talked to her yesterday, she is not an option for him to stay there.
Well, it's not just that one person either. I mean, this has been, John knows this, or Commissioner Herzog knows this. I mean, this has been an issue since I've been here for 25 years. It's always been this. It's not changed. It's always been a problem. And I don't know how we solve it without more money, obviously. But I wish you luck. Thank you.
Commissioner Herzog, at some point, I'm hoping the board will ask you to lead a task force. I tried that last April. It didn't go over too good. To this day, I have no idea why. But you might be able to recruit Judge Beeman, Captain McDonald. There's some other public health people, some mental health people in this county that I have been counseling with, and I think some of them that would be willing to consider going on a task force. And so we go through this temporary process, I think, especially for mental health, but also for public health, that at the end of a year, or maybe less, maybe a year and a half, what it means for our citizens. And now, instead of no one on board, we have potentially 3 different providers that are most willing to work together, plus Curry Health Network and Curry General Hospital, Curry Medical Center, all the above. So, Judge, we may be recruiting you on that, and it could be very helpful. So that's all I have.
Can I get a second?
Of course.
Cynthia, I appreciated that talk about ADAPT, because speaking with this gentleman yesterday, ADAPT, their patients are first, their employees are second. If you work for ADAPT, you're completely insured, you and your family, 100%. I've never met this gentleman in person, but I spoke with him for quite extensive time yesterday. 40 years in the business. And just a company that wants to do that today for their employees, but the employees are second. So I appreciate your comment about ADAPT. I think in my mind, that would be the perfect scenario after Curry Community Health, but they're going to fill that gap. And I'll just tell you, my heart is the services cannot change at June 30th, because we're going to take more time to do something, when OHA has said, you give it back or we take it back. And so I'm going to make a motion, and unless there's somebody else who wants to speak, go ahead, ma'am.
So one of my concerns is, okay, we got this deal for 5 months. What is going to happen in September? And from what I'm hearing is that once this is signed, we have 5 months of health care, mental health care. But in September, all that goes away regardless if you make this decision today or not. Am I correct?
No.
Okay, explain that, because this is what we're hearing.
The reason ADAPT come back to the table after saying, sorry, we're going to pass, is because Curry Community Health stepped up and offered to be, excited to be part of the transition. So ADAPT says, okay, we recognize the court case last Friday, and that gives us 60 days. They were willing to look at it and decided, no, we can't do that. And you know what? I can't speak for Curry Community Health.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say is that it might be a long shot. Mm-hmm. Possible they'll go beyond those September days if they get treated good by Curry County. And
that is very wishy-washy, because we need to know.
Well, what we had, Ms. Martin, what we had at the end of June was almost, I don't know what word I could use, almost treacherous, because we had no options. ADAPT was gone.
Understand that.
Nobody from Jackson County, nobody from Josephine County. Coos County calls up and says, hey, we can step in. Please understand it's only temporary, and it may only be through the end of July. So if it's wishy-washy, I'm sorry, but I didn't get us in this position, okay? I tried to avoid this. We got till the end of September. That's 5 months. I couldn't be more optimistic of pulling everybody together, okay? But to do that, we have to have first things first, and that's working with Curry Community Health, and their simple request, give it back to OHA. ADAPT made the same request, okay? And I know why, and I've expressed that today. We don't need to go any further on that, okay?
Well, excuse me. I think that our county is in great jeopardy right now. September, 5 months. That's you can.
What's your
solution? You look at the
what is your solution?
The solution would have been to have had the workshops where you got all these people together, which you said you were going to have happen at the last BOC meeting.
And the time for the workshop is after today.
No, this is not a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. You don't have the CEOs in here. I don't hear what they have to be saying.
You just heard Judge Beeman say the county can't, over the years, continually has not been able to fulfill the responsibilities. That's why we're in this situation. You heard her say, when Curry Community Health come on board, I think this is a direct quote, it was light years ahead. So we've got them back on board, more than just 60 days. That is incredibly good news. I won't interrupt you again, and I apologize.
No, that's fine. As part of what you guys are supposed to be doing as our commissioners, getting together and discussing these things, which it sounds to me like you kind of discuss these together here and then leave this one here out. So
no,
I'm just telling you what we're hearing. And so what we voted you in here for is to have meetings to where you could discuss these together as a team, and then bring in others to help with, with the questions and whatever that come along. My main concern right now is September. You have guaranteed 5 months, but in September, after September, if things aren't working, you have 4 years that OHA will own the entire community when it comes to our health care, as far as mental health and now our...
Ms. Martin, would you consider serving on a task force?
I'm not even going to answer that right now. But that is my main concern. And that's what our concern is. What's going to happen in September? There's no guarantees right here. And 5 months is 5 months. Like I said, I look at the calendar and I already see those months gone. So those are the months that are critical, is what's going to happen after September. And I don't hear a plan. So that is what my concern is.
If I may, one more time. The plan is now to have ADAPT back on board, with genuine interest, genuine resolve. They went to their board of directors after they canceled out. Curry Community Health is the key. That is the plan. We just got an extra 90 days.
Okay.
They have some hard feelings, which I thoroughly understand, but they still have stepped up and said, we can do this. We are anxious because of the ADAPT reputation to work with them in the transition and Coast Community Health. The CCOs, I mean, if that in itself doesn't give you confidence we're on the right path, I don't know what else I can do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Herzog?
You can stay up there a second. So speaking with Gregory Brigham and Ken Duque, that ADAPT is the key here. And that extra 3 months, 5 months total, that is why that extra time is the key for them to, have in place. They won't do it. They wouldn't do it prior because it was just going to be the 60 days or less than 60 days, because they don't do anything halfway. Excuse me. So they don't do it.
What
halfway.
you said is true.
So that extra 3 months, Ms. Martin, that's the key here, and I just can't reiterate enough that timing is important here with the extra. That's 5 months to get everything in place. They will take the employees that CCH has right now, add to it, do whatever, and I believe buildings. I don't know. Because I know CCH has the big building, the old Ray's building on 5th Street. I don't know, but I do know that the services are what we have to keep going, especially those critical 24/7. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. You got to be able to take somebody somewhere, and that's what we will continue to have.
Well, I would hope so, because I got to witness for myself 2 nights in a row mental health patients coming into Curry General, and it took 2 deputies and 2 city police officers, and it was challenging. And so, what is going to happen to folks like this is a priority, and I hope that this works out, and we're all watching.
Okay.
We're all watching.
I think Cindy had her hand up.
I did. I had a couple of questions, but I do want to say that a holding room at the hospital has always been something that you can't hear.
No, I just want to make sure. He said somebody else had their hand up, and
Cynthia.
it was just her you're referring to?
Yeah. The holding facility at the hospital has been something we've been dealing with since I've been in Curry County also. And my question is, this really goes to Captain McDonald's issue or question. Is there a guarantee that if it goes back to the state that it would that they would contract with ADAPT? I missed that conversation.
No.
Okay.
If they have options, they're obviously in fair trade going to decide.
Will you be able to have any input? I mean,
Absolutely, we do. We've been, we've both been on the phone for 2 months on this. I know I have, and I don't know what else I can offer beyond that. But
yeah,
I'm
not arguing it. I'm just wondering if that's even something that would this board make a recommendation for a certain provider? That's where I guess we just don't have time for workshops, in my opinion. But however, having a discussion among all commissioners would be helpful too, and making sure that if you figure out how you can make a recommendation for a particular provider if that's what you desire, which Captain McDonald's concerned, I understand that would give that up to the state. So, I mean, I don't want to get too much into that. I was just curious about that. But then the other question I had was, you said Coos County offered their services, and I'm not sure if you're meaning their control services, are they actually providing mental health services? Because I know they contract with ADAPT, but do they also provide their own services? Do you know?
I think Anthony could speak.
I just came from Coos County as assistant counsel there, and they do have their own psychologists. They have their own in-house services. They do contract out some things, but most of the stuff they do.
It's called Coos Health and Wellness.
Yes, Coos Health and Wellness.
Okay, so Coos Health and Wellness contracts out what, addiction services to ADAPT, or what?
I believe, yeah, addiction services.
And then there are others as well.
Right, but the major services they hold, but yeah, some of them they do contract out.
So is it our position that we would contract, obviously public health is separate from mental health, but it's our position, or your position, not our position.
Coos County offered to help on a temporary basis before we knew that Curry Community Health was stepping up and offering to go the extra 90 days. So I don't think we're going to be, wouldn't be my recommendation to the board to certainly accept Curry Community Health's offer. Send a thank you note to the Coos County Commissioners and stay tuned, because I think they'll be a great resource down the road. They always are.
But I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand. They offered to help with which facet of behavioral health?
They were aware that ADAPT pulled out on Friday.
CCH, right.
And so they were trying to say, hey, we're pretty stretched, but we're willing to look at helping on a temporary basis.
But do you know if that's addictions or if that's mental health?
Mental health, absolutely mental health.
Oh,
ADAPT
okay.
has nenever been involved in public health.
No.
For Curry County.
Sorry, behavioral health has addiction services,
anyway.
And I think I misspoke. Behavioral health has the addictions services, and then they have the mental health counseling treatment. So is Coos doing something? I'm sorry, Mr. Pope, is Coos doing they're not doing addictions, they're just doing the mental health.
Mental health side, yes, correct.
Okay, I just trying to clear that up. Thank you.
Captain McDonald?
No, because I'm not going to say anything that's going to change your mind. You're set to move forward with this. I think I'll say it because it's my only opportunity to say it. And I'll repeat what I said. I wasn't going to say anything because I think you're set in your decision and you're going to move forward to this. I, again, think that this is I'm not a commissioner. I wasn't elected to that position, but I think it's a poor decision. I think that you have people that are willing to step. I'm just going to say is, if Curry Community Health wouldn't have said, we'll do this for X amount more days, you would be scurrying to find a solution. You're taking, I'm sorry, this is just what it looks like. You're taking the easy way out. You're taking just let me finish, please. This is what it looks like. Here's a solution. These guys said we'll do this, but they put a clause on it. We will only do this if you go away. So, but we'll do this for the community, which gives an out. You can get out of it. Okay, that's the choice that you're making. It's very evident. But you also have other people that said, we'll stand up. You have ADAPT, who said they're interested in providing the service.
Only because Curry Community Health came back on. Are you aware of that?
Let me finish. You have ADAPT that said at one point, we're interested in taking over and providing the services. And then they said, we can't do this in 60 days and backed out. But you also have, you just said, another county willing to step up temporarily and help. Well, talk to ADAPT, talk to that county and say, hey, look, with this transition, can you guys help? Obviously, if Curry Community Health goes away, all the employees are going to be looking for a job if that organization dissolves as of the 1st. So there's employees ready built in. It's just changing companies. I mean,
been there, Captain. We've been there.
I'm just saying.
We looked at every possible
somebody
option.
That's willing to supervise those people, somebody willing to step up. There may be other options, but you're rushing this through. It doesn't take. I know you have the state that says, tell me now. Well, tell the state, you know what? We're going to try and work this out. If you think you have to take it, take it. But you're going to have to take it. We're not going to give it to you. Thank you.
Yeah, Captain, thank you. Yeah, my mind's been made up since Monday, and nothing was said today with public comment, no disrespect intended, that has changed my mind to the contrary. So I'm more convinced than ever that this is the best thing for the citizens. And yeah, we need to move on. We've been here an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow.
So I'll make a motion to relinquish local mental health authority back to the Oregon Health Authority, OHA, State of Oregon.
Looking for a second? I'll second that motion. Discussion? Call for the question. Staff Jesuit.
Commissioner Pash.
No.
Vice Chair Herzog.
Yes.
Chair Boyce.
Yes.
Motion carried 2-1.
Let the healing begin. Anything else, guys? This meeting is adjourned.